Diz's Cafe is the place to put a smile on your face. Judy and the crew will take care of you. Bring your appetite and treat your taste buds right. Diz's Cafe is always a winning choice. Breakfast, lunch, or supper. Diz's Cafe at 860 Elm Street in downtown Manchester. Dine in, take out, or make a reservation. Call 603-606-2532. Eat, drink, and be happy. Diz's Cafe.
You are listening to WMNHLP 95.3 FM, broadcasting from the top of 1000 Elm Street. Our studios are located at 119 Canal Street and licensed to Manchester Public Television Service in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Contact us by email at WMNH953@gmail.com or through our website at WMNHradio.org.
It's 9 o'clock.
Don't need help from you. Can't rest, I acquiesce that sound when you pretend you're sleeping, but you're stalking someone. Tell me the truth, cause really I ought to know. If I'm playing second best, is it best if I go home? Why can't we be seen if you don't even care that I'm so stuck in idle when there's no one there? Maybe I'm just too tired to let you know. Wanna give you all of my time, wanna drive you home. I need to say it now, cause I can't stop thinking that maybe one of these days are the best days I will have in my life. One of these days are the best days I will have. Give me a reason why I feel so alive tonight. Cause it scares me to think that I might have ran here for nothing at all. Got the dust on my shoes just to prove I can be the man who's in your prayers. I don't need a night's sleep. I'm only dreaming of your lips and all your sins, but sadness isn't cured by feigning physical bliss. Maybe I'm just too tired to let you know. Wanna give you all of my time, wanna drive you home. I need to say it now, cause I can't stop thinking that maybe one of these days are the best days ever. I ain't really scared of being vulnerable. Maybe I can be just a little headstrong. I've never had a love that's gave me a reason believing that these are the days are the best days I will have enough. Maybe I'm just too tired to let you know. Wanna give you all of my time, wanna drive you home. I need to say it now, cause I can't stop thinking that maybe one of these days are the best days I will. I ain't really scared of being vulnerable. Maybe I can be just a little headstrong. I've never had a love that's gave me a reason believing that these are the days are the best days I will. Maybe I'm just too tired to let you know. Wanna give you all of my time, wanna drive you home. I need to see it now, cause I can't stop thinking that maybe one of these days are the best days I will. I ain't really scared of being vulnerable. Maybe I can be just a little headstrong. I've never had a love that's gave me a reason believing that these are the days are the best days I will. Maybe I'm just too tired to let you know. Wanna give you all of my time, wanna drive you home. I need to say it now, cause I can't stop thinking that maybe one of these days are the best days I will have in my life. Be just headstrong. Love that's reason believing.
You are listening to WMNH 95.3.
The commander to the supreme leader, Matzo coming down.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Here we go. It is that time again. Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM here in glorious Manchester, New Hampshire on Canal Street. Welcome, everybody. Today is Saturday, September 7, 2024. I am flying solo this morning. Jenny is at home resting up, but she'll be back next week. And, well, speaking of next week, we'll come back to that, but something pretty cool involving Jenny happening next Saturday. So we'll mention that in a moment. Very, very proud of her. It involves her artwork. Spoiler alert. We might have mentioned it last week, but it's official. I dropped off the painting. Well, I'm giving all these hints. I might as well say it. So 1 week from today, Jenny's art will be showing at the Mosaic Art Collective. It's already there. I dropped the painting off on Thursday, and it's actually a personal favorite of mine. But that will be, let's see, I've got the event pulled up here. We'll go ahead and talk about this, and then I'll tell you what we have lined up for today's show. Where did it go? I had it pulled up, and I think I accidentally closed that tab. That figures. Well, anyway, we'll come back to it. But this, let's see, it's from 4 to 8 p.m. on Saturday, September 14th at the Mosaic Art Collective. It's actually in the Daily Mirror building, right on Hanover Street. Very easy to find. And it's funny, there's a couple of things happening there next week, because the other thing that's going on Friday the 13th is John Poussette Dart is going to be playing live at the Rex Theater, and that relates to today's show because he is going to be calling in at 10 a.m. To open the second hour of this week's Matt Connarton Unleashed to talk about that. So we have John Poussette Dart coming on in the second hour, and then in the third hour we have Terry Almquist, who will be with us live in studio from Wellness Hot Yoga, and I'm very excited to have her on the show because I've only known her for a short time, but she's got an amazing backstory. Just such a fascinating person to speak with. So she'll be on with us too. But yeah, so we've got plenty to do. Like I said, I am flying solo today, so I'll go ahead and give out the studio line if anyone does want to join. We've got some interesting things to discuss in the first hour, but the studio line is open 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. Of course, you can always interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. Or anywhere, if you go to mattconnerton.com/live, it gives you all kinds of options for how you can interact with the program while we are live, or even when we're not live, if you just want to reach out and contact us. But the studio line is open, 603-250-6007, especially, by the way, if you have any questions for John Poussette Dart, who is going to be joining us at the top of the hour at 10 a.m. It's funny, so I kind of went down the rabbit hole last night with his music as I was preparing for today's show, because I'd never really listened to much of him. I'd always been aware of him. I remember this goes back quite a ways, but when I was working at Strawberries, for those of you who remember Strawberries, the music store, I started, for a long time, I bounced around, but I worked at the location the first store that I ever actually managed for the company was in Concord, New Hampshire on Loudon Road. And I remember we always had Poussette Dart Band CDs in stock, and people would come in and buy them. But I'd never actually, because this is where this area, sort of the Boston area. This is Manchester, but obviously we're only 45 minutes north. This is kind of where he first became famous. So he's touring around, and he'll be here. Like I said, he's got a bunch of tour dates, but he will be here on Friday the 13th. So he's going to join us to talk about that. But I kind of was exploring his music, and, a couple of the songs from Poussette Dart Band, from, early 70s, like 73, 74, around there. I was like, oh yeah, I've heard this song. I definitely know this song. But I was playing some of his recent, because he continues to, as a solo artist, he continues to create music. And some of his recent stuff is just so interesting. We'll talk about it when he calls. I don't know how much time he has to spend with us, but I have some questions for him. But it might be a little bit of a curve, because I'm sure that when he does radio interviews, people want to talk to him about Poussette Dart Band, where he started. And, of course, we'll do that. And we'll talk about the show coming up. But, because obviously the purpose is to promote that. But I have some questions for him, too, about his more recent material that I find quite fascinating. He's got a great voice and hell of a guitar player. My goodness. So anyway, that'll be coming up at 10 a.m. And like I said, third hour, we have Terry Almquist. For the first hour, we have some music industry news to discuss. I love this stuff. I'm a music industry nerd, and I do some things in the industry, and I have for a long time. But we were talking last week. I think it was last week. Was it last week or the week before? I have to be honest with you. It all blurs together. But no, I think it was last week. We were talking about Oasis and this debacle. We have an update on this. Well, and it relates to another issue happening in the music industry. But so Oasis tickets went on sale. It's the first time they're touring in 15 years. The Gallagher brothers, Noel and Liam. I do that once in a while. I create amalgams of words. I combined Noel and Liam into Lowell. I'll just call them Lowell. So Lowell actually managed to stop arguing enough to say, let's go make some money. That's how people who are cynical about it are talking about it, right? Oh, this is just a money grab. Oasis is they're coming for our cash. They just want to make some money. Now, that's not how I think about it necessarily. I mean, again, I do understand that that's very often a purpose of doing this, but I also am a fan of Oasis, although it's funny. So back in the day, back in the 90s, when Wonderwall was on the radio every 5 minutes, I actually really liked it. That Wonderwall, I thought was such a great song. And I still think it's a great song, but if I hear it now, I'm like, I'm over it. Oh, I was over it a long time ago. Acquiesce is my favorite Oasis song, which was actually a B-side. But anyway, I think it's cool. I mean, I'm not going to go spend gobs of money. I don't know if they've even put any U.S. tour dates on sale. I know they've got a bunch of UK dates. But, I'm not going to go see them because I don't want to pay all that money. And it's going to be expensive. It already is expensive because tickets went on sale in the UK, and that's what set off this whole controversy around the ticket sales themselves. But anyway, so Oasis, no matter how you feel about them, love them, hate them, they're kind of polarizing. I've always been a fan. But I also understand, and again, as someone who's done things in the industry, I have kind of a, I can look at it both as a fan and as a business. I can see it from both perspectives. So yeah, maybe it is a money grab. I don't, but it's a business. You got to make money, right? You got to make a living. These guys probably spend a lot. They just seem, well, at least Liam does probably spend a lot. Noel always struck me as the more down to earth of the two, but I'm sure Liam has quite the lifestyle. Anyway, but put all that aside, regardless of how you feel about it. So we were talking on the show last week about tickets went on sale and the websites were crashing. I say websites plural because obviously, Ticketmaster, which is owned by Live Nation, they put the tickets on sale. Nobody could get them because the site kept crashing, but also the secondary sites were crashing. And then Oasis's management put out a statement saying, actually, don't even buy these tickets on secondary sites because those will be canceled. Those are not authorized. And we got into this a little bit last week, Jenny and I, talking about how, you've got, when a big tour like this goes on sale, so you've got Ticketmaster, which sells the tickets, but very often what happens is and I think a lot of people are probably pretty savvy to this already, but the reason that something can go on sale and then it sells out like immediately, I'm sure people probably assume, well, that's because of the internet. That didn't happen pre-internet for those of us who are old enough to remember, when you would have to actually go and stand in line somewhere to buy tickets. But, things would sell out quickly, which is why if it was a big tour that you really wanted to see, you'd have to go and stand in line. Like Jenny has told stories about, I think her and her mom standing in line for Prince tickets and like camping out overnight or something, or being there for hours when Prince was touring. But then, so the internet comes along, for lack of a better way of putting it, and everything's available online. So things sell out instantly. And yes, because in theory, thousands, tens, hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of people can go and try to buy these tickets immediately once they go online in the digital age, so to speak. But there's another element to that. Very often these tickets are bought up by scalpers. And I don't mean, when I say scalper, I don't mean the guy standing out in front of the venue trying to sell you a ticket to a sold out show, because the show is sold out, but this random guy has tickets that he's willing to sell you at a premium, cash only. I mean scalpers, these services, these ticketing sites that buy in bulk these tickets and then resell them at a profit. That goes on all the time. There are those who have tried to push back on it, trying to find ways to prevent that from happening. But it still goes on. And then, of course, you've also got the other element of Ticketmaster itself. Some people think that, for example, the Live Nation Ticketmaster merger never should have been approved by the government. That gets into a whole other thing. So a lot of people are dissatisfied with Ticketmaster itself as an entity. Remember back in the day, again, this must have been in the 90s or early 2000s when Pearl Jam was kind of the first to say, hey, we don't even want to deal with Ticketmaster anymore. We don't like the way they do business. We don't like the way the fans are kind of getting the shaft. And so they started working with smaller, in various markets around the country, they started working with these smaller market ticketing agencies, which didn't really work out that great. And in the end, Pearl Jam had to give in, had to capitulate and go back to working with Ticketmaster. It's just the reality of it. So you've got all of that. And then you've got this new element. And this we did not talk about last week. But again, it is part of this whole story with Oasis and these tickets, is the dynamic pricing. Now, for those of you who don't know, you may have heard the term. Some of you will know, some of you will not know what this is. But dynamic pricing is this concept where, basic free market economics, right? Supply and demand. When supply is low, demand is high, things cost more money. Well, this concept has been applied to tickets, and Ticketmaster uses it, where, okay, so if demand is high for a show and supply is low, only so many tickets available, those tickets will automatically increase in price. There's even been, who was it? There was a fast food restaurant chain that tried to do this, and I want to say it was Wendy's. They either tried it in some of their locations, or they were testing it in maybe one location, and they were thinking about rolling it out nationally or something. I don't remember all the details, but they tried to do some sort of dynamic pricing concept where at busy times of day, the food would cost more. But I think they probably pulled the plug on that pretty quickly. I think it was Wendy's who tried to do this. But anyway, so this has been done with Ticketmaster. And that factors into the Oasis debacle, as it were, because now Ticketmaster is being investigated about the dynamic pricing. Now, if you're a ticket buyer, you may not like this very much. You might long for the days when tickets would go on sale and you know what the price is, and you just go and you buy the tickets at the price that you're expecting them to be because that's what they're announced at. And that is over. If you're buying tickets to a smaller, like for example, if you're buying tickets to go see John Poussette Dart at the Rex Theater on Friday night, I don't think those prices are going to change, right? But when you're Ticketmaster and you can afford all this technology to control the prices and everything, you can do whatever you want. I mean, Ticketmaster, it is truly a monopoly. They can do whatever they want. But that doesn't mean that they can do whatever they want without some consequences. So let's look at this again. The newest wrinkle in the, what did I say? I'm calling them Lowell Gallagher. If you're just joining us, I should clarify. It's an amalgam of Noel and Liam, because apparently I have difficulty saying Noel and Liam. So it's easier to just say Lowell. They are almost indistinguishable in terms of, I mean, they don't look exactly alike, but if you listen to an interview with them, you know what's funny about Oasis back in the 90s when they first got big? That first album, Definitely Maybe, really blew up. I remember seeing interviews with them on MTV, and MTV would actually, they would actually subtitle the interviews. Obviously, the Gallaghers were speaking English in the interviews, but their accents were such that you almost couldn't understand them. So MTV would actually subtitle the interviews. It was funny. And I don't know if they were doing it to be funny or kind of doing it to be funny, but it was funny. They can be difficult to understand. By the way, Noel Gallagher is very funny too. I don't think Liam's particularly funny, but Noel has a very dry sense of humor that I like. Anyway, okay, so here's the newest wrinkle, and this is from musicbusinessworldwide.com. UK competition regulator launches investigation into Ticketmaster over Oasis ticket sale. So now the government's involved. Says here, the UK's Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, has launched an investigation into Live Nation-owned ticketing giant Ticketmaster. The reason for the investigation? Last Saturday's on sale for Oasis's 2025 UK. Actually, what was the date on this article? September 5th. Okay, so it is referring to last Saturday. So it's referring to the on sale that happened 1 week ago. For Oasis's 2025 UK and Ireland stadium tour, including, quote, how so-called dynamic pricing may have been used, unquote, the CMA said in a statement on September 5. The competition watchdog says it plans to scrutinize, quote, whether the sale of Oasis tickets by Ticketmaster may have breached consumer protection law, unquote. Because again, like I was saying, not everyone thinks that the dynamic pricing is right or ethical. And I'm not saying that I have a problem with it. I'm just saying, apparently there's people in government who are saying, we're not sure that this is the correct way to be treating consumers. I'm not making a judgment about it. I'm agnostic on that part of it. But I think it's interesting that, what I do think will be really interesting is, does this stick around, the dynamic pricing concept in terms of tickets? It's already lasted longer than I thought. This has been going on a few years now. When it started, I remember thinking, this isn't going to last. There's going to be so much backlash to this. People are not going to like it. People are used to tickets go on sale. They go on sale for a particular price. If a show isn't selling, rarely will you even see the price go down, right? You rarely see that. You very rarely see discounted tickets. In fact, look, if you're a promoter and you've got a big show in an arena, say, right, and tickets aren't moving, you'll give away tickets before you'll lower the price. That's true. If you've got a show in a 10,000 seat arena, again, this is if you're the promoter putting on the show, not the band's management has no say in this, or certainly not the record label, nobody, or even the venue. You're the promoter and you're making decisions based on how these tickets are moving. If it's soft, meaning you're not selling enough tickets, you're not selling as many as you thought you were, what you'll do is, very often, is they call it papering the room, which means, because what you don't want at the end of the day is a half-empty arena. So if you're in a 10,000 seat venue and you're only on track to sell 5,000 tickets, you don't want that. It just doesn't look good, right? To have a 10,000 seat arena that's only half full. So if you were thinking you're going to sell 8,000, right? So you'd be at 80% capacity. Sorry if I'm getting too into the weeds, but I know a lot of people in the industry listen to the show. So if you're only at, you think you're going to be at 80% capacity, you're going to sell 8,000 out of 10,000 seats. But it's looking like you're only going to hit 5,000. You don't want a half empty arena. So you will give away tickets to that show. It happens all the time. You'll be contacting every radio station you can find that you think might be interested in doing a ticket giveaway. You'll be giving them out to businesses and saying, here, give these to your employees or do some kind of contest. Do whatever you want with them. Just make sure people from your company show up at the show. You'll do anything that you can to get more people in the door. And at that point, it's all about the optics of it. It's all about what it looks like, because you don't want to put on a show in a 10,000 seat arena that's literally half full and then have that, have people hear about it, have people seeing on social media tickets of a half empty arena, just all of that. You want it to look like everything that you do is successful. So you're going to paper, again, it's called papering the room. You're going to try to get as many people in there as you can. And if that means, because you have nothing to lose, right? If you're not going to sell those tickets, you might as well give them away, because the show's going to happen no matter what, and you're going to have to pay everybody no matter what if you're the promoter. You've got financial obligations tied up in this. You might take a loss on that show, but you might as well get as many people in the door as you can, so at least it looks good. So the point being, what you'll rarely see, I can't say never, but what you'll rarely see is a promoter say, okay, these tickets, they're not moving at $60, so I think we're going to drop the price to $50 or to $40 and see if we can sell some more. You just don't see that. They'd rather paper the room than lower the price on the tickets. Reason being, if you lower the price on the tickets, again, not using Ticketmaster's dynamic pricing, I'm just saying if you decide as the promoter you're going to lower the price, now you're risking, well, first of all, you're risking alienating the people who already bought the tickets at the higher price. So you don't want them going on social media saying, hey, I got ripped off. But although that's probably not that likely. But what you also don't want to happen is, what if you lower the price, but it doesn't juice the sales? Now you're taking an even bigger loss. You could lower the price, but it doesn't increase your sales. The same number of people who were probably going to buy tickets end up buying the tickets anyway, regardless, right? So they would have bought the tickets anyway if they were still $10 more or $20 more. So you lower the price, you still only sell 5,000 tickets. You've still got a half empty room, and you've actually made less money. So it's not worth the risk. So the best thing to do, at least in my experience and from what I've seen, is in that situation, you leave the ticket price as it is, and you just hope that, you get a lot of walk up, right? People coming, showing up on the day of, and you try to paper the room. You try to give out some tickets too. But this dynamic pricing has changed everything. So again, getting back to this article, over 10 million fans from 158 countries are confirmed to have queued up on Saturday, August 31 to buy tickets to the tour. So like I said, it was last weekend that the tickets went on sale. 2 additional Wembley Stadium shows have been added due to, quote, unprecedented demand during the sale, which Oasis said in a press release Saturday, quote, saw all ticket platforms struggling to cope, resulting in immense frustration and disappointment for fans who missed out after queuing for many hours, unquote. By the way, the same thing happened in the United States, if you remember, with Taylor Swift. Same thing. People were frustrated. They were trying to get, I remember seeing people on social media just, in tears over it. They were so desperately trying to get Taylor Swift tickets and couldn't, because, you wait, you log on to the website, you're in the queue, you're waiting and waiting and waiting. And then eventually something happens, maybe the site crashes or, there's something goes wrong. Maybe your computer suddenly wants to update it shuts itself down and restarts or whatever it is, right? You know, after you've already invested hours of your time, and then now you're at the back of the line, or now you log back in and the show's sold out. So, you know, so this is not in and of itself unprecedented, but to put the extent of that demand into context, Wembley, where Oasis are now set to play 7 of the tour's 19 dates, has a capacity of 90,000, which means that the band would need to perform 111 dates at the stadium to meet the demand for next year's tour. The following Wednesday, in the same press release announcing the 2 additional Wembley shows, Oasis publicly distanced themselves from the decisions that led to the use of Ticketmaster's dynamic pricing tools during the sale. Yeah, so a lot of this went on where now Oasis, the Gallagher brothers, Lowell, I'm calling them. I've melded them together into one person, Lowell Gallagher. It's just easier. Economy of language, my friends. So now fans are pointing at them and going, you guys are bad, you guys are greedy, all this. In reality, it really doesn't have much to do with them, but they're going to take the blame. Of course, they're the public faces of this. I have a hunch that they probably don't care that much because, you know, they're extremely rich and famous, and, you know, there's... You know, it probably doesn't affect them much. I don't think a mean comment from a fan is going to hurt the Gallagher brothers. But that is, you know, they're the face of it. So it's they're going to take the brunt of the anger and ire from people. It says here, informed sources speaking to MBW, which is Music Business Worldwide. This is a great website. This week estimated that 10 to 15% of the 1.4 million tickets sold over the weekend were, quote, dynamically priced on Ticketmaster, meaning the price automatically adjusts based on supply and demand. The price for these tickets more than doubled from a face value of around £150, I assume that's pounds, to an in-demand price tag of around $355, causing fan outcry on social media platforms and much discussion in other media outlets, including MBW on Tuesday. And again, that takes us back to what I was saying before about how long will this last? People don't like the dynamic pricing. They end up feeling taken advantage of, and they end up feeling ripped off. As a free market economist, I'm not an economist. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said economist, but you know, as someone who believes in free markets, let me put it that way. You know, I'm not really taking a position one way or the other. It's supply and demand. It's being applied here. It's almost like an auction in a sense, right? But buying these tickets, I'm not taking a position. I'm going to remain agnostic on it, at least for now. But I'm telling you, this could be the nail in the coffin of this particular strategy, because people are, you know, the last thing you want is your consumers or your fans to feel that they've been victimized. You know, I saw one comment somebody directed at the Gallaghers saying, you know, I wouldn't have thought you would be so greedy. You know, your fan base is, you know, kind of working class people, and here you are being so greedy. And again, it's not them. I'm not saying they're not greedy. Maybe they are. I don't know. Again, you know, when you get to that level, I mean, there's been plenty of research and studies done on this. When you get to a certain level of fame and money, there is a certain, almost a sociopathy that sets in, right? So, you know, I'm not saying they're not terrible people. They may be. They may not be. I don't know. I'm a fan of their music, but if I actually met them, I might be horrified. They say don't meet your heroes. I don't know. But it's ultimately not their fault. But if there's enough outcry over this whole dynamic pricing thing, this might be the beginning of the end of it. So the band's press release said, quote, "It needs to be made clear that Oasis leave decisions on ticketing and pricing entirely to their promoters and management, and at no time had any awareness that dynamic pricing was going to be used," unquote. Is that satisfactory? Probably. From a PR standpoint, probably not. No one's going to believe that. No one who's angry about this is going to read that statement and say, "Oh, okay, it's really got nothing to do with them." I mean, it's true in a sense, right? But there's a big hole in this though too. Let me read part of this again. It needs to be made clear that Oasis leave decisions on ticketing and pricing entirely to their promoters and management. One little problem with that. So promoters are people you're in business with, right? The promoter is the one who, well, the promoter, first of all, takes all the risk. Again, I have experience in this, so I know how this feels. Not on this level, obviously, but, the promoter's putting on the shows and handling all of that. So you are somewhat at a promoter's mercy. The problem is the sentence says that they leave this to their promoters and management. The and management is a problem to me because there's a cop out there. Oh, that's our management. Well, here's the thing is, management works for the band. The band doesn't work for management. It's not how, it's not like in the corporate world, if you have a manager, you work for your manager, right? They're your boss. In the music industry, it's the other way around in that if you are an artist and you have a manager, the manager is someone you hire. They work for you. You hire them to run your business, the business of your music. So for the band to say, well, that's not up to us, we leave that to our management. Well, the management works for you, dude. You can't really pass the buck. They're your employee in a sense. Not literally an employee. They've got contracts and everything, but you know what I'm saying. So to say, it's one thing to say, you can kind of let it fly a little bit and say, well, it's not our fault. It's we leave that to the promoters. Well, yeah, that's what the promoter does, right? That's their function. But to say, and management, well, that's your management they're your management. You can fire your management if you want to. You can tell your management, don't do it this way. It's upsetting our fans. You can tell your management to handle it differently. Okay, so there's more to the statement. Quote, "While prior meetings between promoters, Ticketmaster, and the band's management resulted in a positive ticket sales strategy, which would be a fair experience for fans, including dynamic ticketing, to help keep general ticket prices down, as well as reduce touting." Touting? Is that, maybe that's a term for, that almost sounds like might be another term for scalping. In the United States, we call it scalping. Maybe there they call it touting. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know what that word means in that, but I assume from the context, it might be another term for scalping. The execution of the plan failed to meet expectations. All parties involved did their utmost to deliver the best possible fan experience, but due to the unprecedented demand, this became impossible to achieve. I feel like there's a contradiction here. Did anyone else hear a contradiction? Yeah, there's a pretty blatant contradiction, self-contradiction in this statement. That to me seems glaringly obvious. So let's back up a little bit. So the statement opens with, "It needs to be made clear that Oasis leave decisions on ticketing and pricing entirely to their promoters and management, and at no time had any awareness that dynamic pricing was to be used." So the band had no idea, according to that paragraph or that opening statement, that opening sentence, that of the statement, that dynamic pricing was to be used. But then they say, oh, okay, I'm sorry. No, I was wrong. I retract. There is no contradiction. I thought there was a contradiction because it sounded like they're saying that Oasis had no idea. The band had no idea. And then I see this sentence, while prior meetings between promoters, Ticketmaster, and the band's management resulted in a positive ticket strategy, that everyone thought would be fair and da-da-da. I thought, I took that as everyone was involved in that decision. But no, that's not correct. The band is not mentioned in that part. So there is no contradiction. I was wrong about that. I apologize. Okay. All right. Well, so taking that into account, it's probably the best possible statement that, that it's the best damage control they could do. Let me put it that way. It's not going to satisfy people, but it's damage control is about just doing the best you can with a rough situation. The CMA said today that, and again, that's the part of the government that does consumer protection in the UK, that it is at the initial stage of its investigation. It will now engage with Ticketmaster and gather evidence from various other sources, which, quote, may include the band's management and event organizers, unquote. SJM, Live Nation, MCD, and DF Concerts are promoting the Oasis tour. Ticketmaster was one of the 3 sites used along with Gigs and Tours and C-Tickets. The CMA stressed in its statement on Thursday that, quote, it should not be assumed that Ticketmaster has broken consumer protection law, unquote. No, I mean, and look, I'm not a legal expert of any kind, and there may be an element to this that I'm missing, but I don't see anything that makes me say, oh, it sounds like, look, we can talk about this whole dynamic pricing strategy as being kind of dirty business, right? Again, I'm going to remain agnostic on it for now, but that doesn't mean that anything's illegal about it yet, right? There's nothing illegal about it that I can see. The competition regulator added that it will, quote, also consider whether it is appropriate to investigate the conduct of anyone else in relation to the matter, unquote. Dynamic ticket pricing sees prices surge in real time as demand rises, similar to airline tickets or Uber. Live Nation has previously argued that the program addresses the issue of scalpers buying up tickets at face value and then selling them at a higher price point. Wait. They have? I got to click this link. They have? That's their argument? That it reduces scalping? That's why they do it? I just clicked another article that might explain it, but we might come back to this later if we have time. I don't see how that would be the case. But I'm open to the argument, but I don't see how would that prevent scalping? What am I missing? Maybe I'm missing something. Again, I'm trying to be fair. All right. The CMA said on Thursday that, quote, this is not the first time that the use of dynamic pricing has raised concerns among fans of live sporting events and music events, unquote. According to the CMA, while the practice is, quote, not automatically unlawful, it may breach consumer protection or competition law in certain circumstances, unquote. Sarah Cardell, chief executive of the CMA, said, quote, it's important that fans are treated fairly when they buy tickets, which is why we've launched this investigation. It's clear that many people felt they had a bad experience and were surprised by the price of their tickets at checkout. We want to hear from fans who went through the process and may have encountered issues so that we can investigate whether existing consumer protection law has been breached. By the way, that's something, there's more to the statement, but that's something we can all relate to, right? You go to buy tickets and again, I don't think this really happens with smaller ticketing agencies or smaller tours, but you go to buy tickets from Live Nation and you go to check out and the ticket price is suddenly much higher, not necessarily because of dynamic pricing, but all these fees and taxes and everything. And you thought you were going to spend $100 on a ticket and all of a sudden you get to check out and it's $150 and you're like, where did this other, I mean, I'm not even exaggerating, right? It'll be that much more. It's wild. And there's like all these fees and, there's there's just any fee you can imagine. I don't remember too. It's been a while since I've even bought tickets from Ticketmaster. I don't know. I don't remember if it even itemizes it for you. Does it? Maybe if somebody's in the chat room, I should take a breath and say hello to everybody in the chat room. But does it even itemize it for you, or does it just say taxes and fees and it's this huge additional number that you weren't expecting, or you were expecting if you buy tickets from Ticketmaster regularly? But Alex Whiteley is in the chat room, one of our friends from the UK. Oh, says touting is a term used for people selling tickets on for higher prices. Okay. Miriam Banish also joins us in the Facebook live chat. Yeah, thank you for that, Alex. We don't use that term in the we don't use touting. We have a call. Let's see who we have here. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, it's Charles.
Hey, Charles Richardson. How are you?
I've been better, but hanging in there.
What's going on? I should, by the way, Charles, I should just tell you up front, we only have a few minutes because we have a guest calling in at 10 a.m. But what's on your mind?
Well, I want to try to make it quick. Number one, Ticketmaster, Live Nation, all these they're all scam artists. And the fact that they're going with this pricing technique is really embarrassing. Listen, if I buy a seat in section 101, in the first 10 rows, it should be one price. The next 10 rows, another price. There should not be any alternative pricing. But they're scam artists because you got this ticket surcharge fee, you got this fee, that fee. The damn fees cost more than the damn ticket sometimes. So I think it's all just a really big joke, if you want my honest opinion.
Well, it is true. I mean, you get to the end of the process, and the price is, it just all of a sudden it's, yeah, sometimes the fees, they're almost as much or perhaps even more than the ticket itself. It's wild.
It is. It's embarrassing to buy tickets nowadays because everything's done online and they're just reaping the benefits. The fact that they do alternate pricing for scalpers, are you kidding me? Please, that's such a lame excuse. It's almost like the glove didn't fit, Your Honor. So, I'm out of here.
All right, bye, Charles. Good to hear from you, my friend. Take care. All right, that was Charles Richardson. Of course, from the Charles Richardson Show, although I think he's taking a little bit of a break from that right now, but good to hear from Charles. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go, I relate to his frustration, certainly. I think most of us probably do. I'm not going to go so far as to say that it's a scam because, to use that word, I would say a scam would be, in my mind, if you go to buy the tickets and after you've checked out, you end up with a charge on your credit card or your debit or whatever that's higher than what you thought it was going to be. You do know what the final price is before you click that to pay that and make that purchase. But it is true. So I would not technically call it a scam. I would disagree with Charles on that, although I'm certainly sympathetic with the broader point that he was making. And again, and I think a lot of us can relate to that frustration. And it is interesting, like you really, and this absolutely, I don't think anyone can argue it. It is definitely designed, the process, unless it's changed. Again, I haven't bought tickets from Ticketmaster in quite a while. So unless the process has changed, it is designed so that you don't see that final number until the very end. So you're going through the entire process of picking your seats and everything. You're going through that entire process, unless you have bought tickets recently, right? If you go to a lot of shows, none of this will surprise you. But if you don't go to a lot of shows, you're going through that entire process with one price in your mind. And then you get to that final screen, and that's where it shows you all these fees. And you're like, oh, this ticket just doubled in price. Let's see. Isaac Banks is also in the chat room. Alex Whiteley says, people had to sign into their Ticketmaster, wait to be accepted into a ballot, which took hours for some. Then some were told that they were going to have to pay upwards of £400 per ticket. Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know that I would call it a scam per se, but it certainly is. I think we can all understand why, from a consumer standpoint, you might have a pretty bad taste in your mouth after going through that. Right? All right. Here's what we got to do, because we are approaching the top of the hour. We're going to take a quick break and show some love to our amazing sponsors here at WMNH, as we like to do. And then, oh, you know what? Oh, there it is. Then we have John Pousette Dart calling in. He's got a big show coming up at the Rex Theater on Friday. So he's going to be joining us. So we've got plenty more to come if you are listening live on Saturday morning. So don't go anywhere.
In times of crisis, you need a law firm that stands by your side. With over 40 years of experience, Craig & Getsoulis is dedicated to fighting for your rights. As former state prosecutors, our attorneys have the knowledge and trial experience to provide an aggressive defense against any charge, from DUIs to homicides. If you've been injured, our compassionate team will assess your case and fight for the compensation you deserve. Serving all of New Hampshire, Craig & Getsoulis is here when you need us most. Visit CraigGetsoulis.com or call 603-555-1234 for a free consultation. Craig & Getsoulis, your advocates, your allies.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH. Diz's Cafe is the place to put a smile on your face. Judy and the crew will take care of you. Bring your appetite and treat your taste buds right. Diz's Cafe is always a winning choice. Breakfast, lunch, or supper. Diz's Cafe at 860 Elm Street in downtown Manchester. Dine in, take out, or make a reservation. Call 603-606-2532. Eat, drink, and be happy. Diz's Cafe.
When it comes to keeping WMNH on the air and your own personal or business computer needs, trust Groland Computers. Located on Elm Street in Manchester, Groland handles computer repair, virus removal, and custom-built systems. Are you looking for budget-friendly options? Check out our selection of fully inspected used computers. We offer tailored on-site solutions. No unnecessary expenses here. Visit Groland.com or call Groland Computers at 603-645-0101. Your tech, your way. Trust Groland Computers.
Midnight. 7 times out of 10, we listen to our music at night. Thus spawned the title of this program.
Late Night Delight with DJ Midas, right here on WMNH Manchester.
You wanna know why? Because I'm on the radio.
Saturdays and Sunday nights, midnight to 4 a.m.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.